Thank you. We'll cut the presentation by an hour, since I know he has a tight program.
No.
We'll give you the full.
Don't cut anything.
Have not been allowed to reduce.
No.
Yeah, because I'm supposed to finish by 10. I was supposed to start at 8. And I was supposed to finish at 10:30, so I had 2.5 hours. So are you allowing me to go to 11?
Yes.
Okay. Now I have your permission. So don't look at your watch at 10:30, look at it at 11. But you have a very important subject we are discussing. I come from an organization called Taruma Consultants. I'm here. My name is John Nganga, with Paul, my assistant. And we have the topic we have been given to discuss is work-life balance. Work-life balance. It really doesn't matter which career you are in, it's a topic you need to deal with very, very seriously. I just came back last night from Ethiopia, where we were training the African Union managers who are in a place called Meleke, which is about 800 kilometers to the north of Addis Ababa. And the challenges I'm discussing now are the kind of challenges, as they look after the whole of Africa, they are still talking about. That if you don't manage yourself, it will be difficult to manage others. So the first place for any manager, I was told you are a group of managers. Are my assumptions correct?
Yes.
All of you are looking after somebody.
Yes.
So far, am I right?
Yes.
So we are saying, don't bother managing others. Start by managing yourself. That's why this topic was put in. That we challenge you on how to manage yourself. Somebody called me pastor, but I've never been a pastor even for a morning. But I give talks to many groups. I do training, I give talks, and so people are likely to also see me in church, where people who are there normally are called pastors. But I've never been given the privilege. So if my bishop had somebody call me pastor, he would ask me, where did you get that title from? So I'm simply Mr. Nganga. But I want to say that that one of the things that I want to say is, I have looked at my life. I left the university in the mid-70s. In our case, we never said which university. There was only one. So you were never asked which one. When we went to the university in the 70s, there was only one. And although Kenyatta became a University of Nairobi in the 70s. And I know the kind of things I was doing in my 20s, after we left campus. I worked for a development bank after that, and I tried this and I tried that, and I tried many things. And there are many things I could do. I could work throughout the day, then work throughout the night, and somehow on Monday morning appear for work. The other day we had a real negotiation with a group in Jomo Kenyatta, a student group, that wanted me to talk to them at night. And they wanted me to start talking around midnight. That's for students. That's quite. They wanted me to talk about life after campus. So they call themselves the elders. So they want to be able to dance and do things. Then the speaker comes in at midnight, and that was the time the Thika Road was quite a mess, isn't it? You leave the road here in the morning, in the afternoon it's there. Now at night, how will you tell? I tried to negotiate with the students. Says, no. If you spoil our party, if you come earlier than midnight, we finally had to agree I won't go, because I have discovered that when I'm active at night, I'm useless in the day. That was not true those days. And if I don't recognize that my body in my mid-60s, if I don't require my body, the message is even better than it was in the 70s. It may even be wiser, but the body may not deliver what it used to deliver. So those days I would be involved over the weekend. Would go. I'm involved also with students quite a lot. I would go I would go and do a leadership training for students throughout the day. Then that evening, I speak in a school. Then at night, we have a team meeting of people we are working with. In the morning, you wake up, you just wash your face, and you speak in a church and a church there. Then in the afternoon, you have a rally for all the students. Then at 4 o'clock, 5, when the rally is over, you're on your way back to Nairobi. You sleep, and on Monday, you're in the bank. No problem. I can't try that now. That's why I'm struggling with the students about midnight. If you don't learn about your own body, your delivery will have a problem. That's the message I'm giving you. So that's why we are saying, manage yourself before you manage others. You know, if you have not managed yourself properly, people will know. Sometimes you think that people don't know. They will know. You become irritable. Somebody asks you, sir, could I see you now? Why not yesterday? Now, the person has said nothing wrong. It is you that is irritable. Have you been to bosses like that? Yeah. I know you are good bosses. I mean, you are bosses. You know, and you can tell there is absolutely nothing wrong you have done. But the guy has not managed his life. And because he has not managed his life, his productivity at work is limited. So you need to understand that if you truly want to be somebody, a professional who is productive, over time, you must look at the way you are managing your own life. And one of the biggest problems we have is what we are calling work-life balance. Why is work-life balance so important for every manager? Number one, because of psychosomatic diseases. Go and Google it up. I'm not a doctor. Psychosomatic diseases. What are psychosomatic diseases? They are diseases that don't come from virus, and they don't come from germs. They come from stress. You are in a stressful situation. And in fact, I was asking a doctor, what does that mean? It means that you are stressed, you go to the toilet, and you are producing blood. And that's because blood is real. I mean, you are not pretending. But when they come to check you up, there is no virus, there is no germ, it's just the stress in your mind. I asked the doctor, can you die? Of course, you just go blood and you die. And you are dying out of something that entered the body through the brain. And I say, what is the science of it? He says when your body has a problem and is imbalanced, it produces chemicals out of order. So instead of the normal chemical to fight to when you put food in your stomach, it's working on the food. Even when there is no food, it eats into your stomach. So you soon start producing blood. But there was no germ, there was no virus. It's simply a mismanaged life. So the first reason why you need to have self-management is your own medical health. In fact, I'm not sure about the figures, but somebody told me if you went to Kenyatta, it's very possible that 60% of all inpatients are there. When you trace back, it is psychosomatic diseases. A guy does not know how to deal with his spouse, and out of the strains of the spouse and how they are relating, the guy ends up in the hospital. Remember, the disease they are treating is real. You literally are depressed, you literally are producing blood, they are real physical diseases. But if you trace them back, it is something to do with how he relates with his wife. It's how to do with how he deals with the bank. The bank told him that they are going to repossess the house. And they have given him 3 weeks. And he wonders what he's going to do, where the family will be within no time. He is inpatient at Kenyatta Hospital. It all came from mismanaging his financial resources to the extent that he is now in a tight spot. And finally, you are sick. And you'll not be very useful to Multimedia University, will you? Once you are sick. So that's why the university needs to be concerned about whether people are mismanaging themselves. So the first reason is medical. The second one, which is going to be related to that, is that it interferes with your sense of fulfillment. When you are in balance, you suffer from fulfillment. In other words, you are doing well here, doing badly here. When you are in totality of your life, there is lack of sense of fulfillment. So somehow you are unhappy all the time. And in the process of that sense of lack of fulfillment, you get to the third thing. It interferes with your ability to produce. Your productivity is very interfering. Those are 3 reasons why we must be serious about living a balanced life. You know, much of life is a question of maintaining balance. It's not just much of it. Any athletic team knows that they need a balance between offense and defense, between quickness and strength. Now, if you're a rugby player, you know that. You know that you can't win the team just by being strong. You must also have the speed, isn't it? So you need to understand that's the balance. Again, if you are just running and you're not strong, you just get the ball out of your hands. Am I right? So it's important to understand there is a balance. And the captain must know how to keep the balance. In our personal finances, we want to maintain a balance between income and expenses. You know, I've been married for that 7 years. And in the last 17 years, after we were married 20 years, people come to us, my ever die. And I have discovered the biggest marriage problem is inability to live within your means. Inability to balance income and expenses. If you are married to a guy who doesn't know how to manage expenses, please accept my sympathy in advance. Even if there's no trouble. And you think that's a man's problem. Women are actually worse. She sees a dress, she wants to buy. Do you have the money? We'll talk about that later. Now, you need to within no time, she is paying for dresses and there's no school fees. Does that happen?
Yes.
It's important to understand when that is the way you have a mismanaged life. When you cannot live within your means. And you need to understand that when that statement is critical, because there is no money enough for all your needs, for all your wants. There's enough for your need, but not enough for your wants. So you rest assured, when we left university, our salary used to be 2,000 shillings in the 70s. I worked for Parastatal, so we were paid a little more, 3,000 shillings. My friend, it meant everything. We used to call Buruburu Hall 14 because we were able to get to rent houses in. And although now you think Buruburu is normal, it was a beautiful place. So we were so rich, we could afford houses in Buruburu. And we were only earning how much? 2,000 shillings. Of course, the rent was 900 in phase 3. It was 900 shillings. But somehow we vetted everything. And you know, given that we are Africans, we are also educating our brothers and sisters, isn't it? Mm-hmm. All on 2,000 shillings. But I finally left the Parastatal Bank and I joined Shell. And you know, when I joined Shell, because I was not interested, they were poaching me from the bank. They wanted a business analyst. So I told them I wasn't very interested because someone was trying to poach me. So when they asked me how much I would want, I just took my figure and doubled it. So they leave me alone. Those days they were not called HR, they were called personnel managers. Personnel manager, young man, I can handle that. Me, I thought I frightened him. Because you know, after he is talking about their medical scheme, you know, when you are a young man, what's medical for? They are talking about. I just want money. So after he had talked, I returned him. But sir, did you hear what I want? Now, do you know, when I got the letter of appointment, he had given me exactly what I wanted. Double the money. I felt, wow! Hey, did that take time? Before I realized it was all gone. Why? Once I went there, I asked for a car. And you know something? From Buruburu to the city center, I used to pay 1 shilling and 50 cents. Now back, what was my budget per day? 3 shillings. The day I got my car, because Cheryl was giving us a loan, I got a brand new car. The day I got my car, I discovered, and the petrol was then 7 shillings and 7 shillings 50 cents. Petrol, the per liter, it was 7 shillings and 50 cents. But if you're talking about a little more than 10 kilometers every day, 20 something kilometers, and if you are working at about 10 kilometers per liter, it would add up to be 20 shillings per day. Remember, my salary has not been changed. But now instead of paying 3 shillings per day, I'm paying 20 shillings per day. Even without the increase. Whenever I went to see my mother, I now had nothing to give her. And she has heard I've gone to a private company. I'm earning much more, but my take home, which I could give my mother, has become less. You know that the transport is not the problem. There's still a loan to pay. So all that extra money I got has disappeared. Am I talking things you have not gone through? So and you hear somebody has a car, you also want to run there. Now remember you talk about work-life balance. You need to understand, to live a balanced life, you must live within your means. If I can normally say, I don't know a bigger problem in life than inability to live within your means. And the 3 things you need to understand about that subject is, number 1, there is no money enough. You know, it started with 2,000. Within no time I was in management, and I'm earning 200,000. Now, you know, you expect you have to have more. But by that time I want another house. I've moved out of Boroporo. But you see, the new mortgage is taking all my money. I'll get the point. Yes. You remain equally poor. At 2,000, at 200,000, when you go home, you can only take your mother 2 shillings. Are you getting the point? Nothing seems to have changed. Inability to live within your means. So the first thing you need to understand is you are never going to get enough money. The second thing you need to understand is that you can fit within any money. Our needs are so few. I'm a Gideon. Gideons are people who give Bibles in hotels and schools. And the other day now, since I'm now running my own farm, I have enough time. I was asked by somebody, can you give Bibles all over Kibera in what they call, I can't remember the name they give to the schools in Kibera. They are not government schools, but there are a lot of small schools in Boroporo. So I was told to give Bibles there. So I would go at the DO's place, I park my car, I call the headmaster, he gives me young people, we carry cartons all over. So I went all over. And I learned quite a bit about people in Kibera, that the father of the child, you know, when you're talking to them, he is working in that area. He walks every day, so he has no cost of walking. Okay, he has energy, but it's not money. But all he is earning in a whole month, maximum, 12,000. Because you know it's not a salary, it's daily. And sometimes you don't get work. With that 12,000, they have rented a house, they are eating okay, and the guy is even drinking. You can't quite understand. You can't quite understand, because for you, when you have 10,000, it is pocket money. Are you getting my point? Yes. For him, it's enough for the whole family in 1 month. And he is not growing crops, he is buying with the same money. So for you earning 50,000 to still be running out of money, clearly, you are not as clever as a Kibera man. He has the ability to balance his figures. You have a degree and inability to manage your finances. Am I communicating? Yes. So you need to understand, and remember why I'm discussing this? I have told you to finally affect your productivity. If you are not able to balance your incomes, it will finally affect your income. You know what happens in the end? If you are not able to balance the expenses, you start asking, hey, Buana, the month is in a bad place. Can I have 5,000? You know, big people don't borrow 1,000. 5,000, yes. Then it runs out. Then you go over there to Professor Mayaka and say, 10,000, you know he's a professor, you should give more. So 10,000, yes, 10,000. Within no time, you have 50,000 shillings borrowed, and you are saying your salary is 50,000. Does that happen?
Yes.
Then finally, you need your money, you come back to me and say, hey, no, where is my 5,000? Surely, Gumbo. You asking me so little money? Who followed you for so little? have people asked you that?
Yes.
The question, if it's so little, how come we are not paying? It's because you are totally out of control. And it will certainly, from then onwards, even when you have teamwork with him, there's a problem. He says he comments something, and I start thinking it's because I haven't paid him. Is that affecting your work?
Yes.
It all has to do with an inability to balance. Inability to balance expenses and income. So the second point you need to understand is that you can actually, you'll never get enough to meet your expenses. You can live within your means. It doesn't matter the salary. Can I give you an example? You can eat a balanced diet. The choice is yours. If you want starch in the morning, you can buy bread if you are rich. If you get richer, don't buy bread, buy Weetabix, which is more expensive than bread. You get more rich and I can go on. But if you have no money, just buy guache, and in the morning, take water and guache. Have you eaten starch?
Yes.
And by the way, according to people who teach nutrition, the stomach does not know the difference between Weetabix and guache. As far as the stomach is concerned, it's got starch, carbohydrates. It doesn't know the difference. So can you see the difference in expenditure? And yet the body can't tell the difference. Are we together?
Yes.
Now, if what you want is protein, you have a choice. If you have money, you can buy meat. If you have more money, you buy chicken. Are we together?
Yes.
And if you have even more money, you buy chicken that has been frozen. I'll get you the point. It all depends on the money you actually have. But if you go for beans and you cook them nicely, it will give you protein.
Yes.
But the money compared with the guy buying the frozen chicken and the one buying beans, are there any comparison? No. But the body doesn't tell the difference. Protein from beans is even better than from chicken. Have you heard that?
Yes.
Can you see clearly that our inability to balance is not because it's not possible? It has something to do with the pride. I can't eat beans. Your wife gives you food with ugali and beans. Says, have we gotten so poor? And she has balanced it. She has put ugali, starch. Sukuma wiki, vitamins and vegetables, isn't it?
Yes.
And she has also given you beans protein. You have a balance?
Yes.
And you say, I can't eat it. Madam, sure, we are not that bad, are we? You need to understand the trouble until whatever managerial level you reach. I was during one of the breaks, I was talking with a lady who is a director in charge of, she's a director of one of the departments in the African Union. And she said the other day, I think she's from some place in West Africa, because she was French speaking. And she was saying, the other day, I was talking to the daughter wants this, the daughter wants this. Then when he told the daughter they can't buy, he said, but Mom, you are rich. Imagine this is a teenager, 14 years, telling the mother she should not be told no, because the mother is rich. Then another one said, now because of this one saying this, another person said that when they were leaving to go to Meleka, they told the young daughter that they have gone to look for money. Then the father said, wait a minute, we already have a lot of money. What are you going to look for? Now, with those kind of children, can you see the pressure?
Yes.
So it's important to understand that if you really are living a balanced life, it will be important to learn how. And nobody can manage you. That's a choice. That's why I told you it's self-management. Multimedia can never help you in this area. It has to be personal. But unfortunately, your inability to manage yourself, the frack will be taken by the multimedia. That's why you need to work on it. You need to work on it yourself. Let's go on. In teaching, we try to keep the proper balance between content and creativity. That's true here, isn't it?
Yes.
You want to make sure you have told people what you need to tell them, but you also want to give them time to be creative. Am I right?
Yes.
So it's important to understand. And you need to create a balance. And too much emphasis on content and the subject becomes boring. Too much emphasis on creativity, and you have a lot of fun, but you end up, the content you have communicated is little. And you need to have balance like that. We all have to find the balance between diet, exercise, and rest. If you're exercising the whole day, we will soon take you to hospital. Too much to one extreme or the other, and you begin to hamper healthy living. But this is the best example I have. You know, I used to work for Shell. I worked for Shell for 30 years before they said I was old and asked me to rest. Then I started working again. But that's Kenyan. I still remember I was in charge of aviation in the mid-80s. We used to use, those days there was no email, so we used to use telexes to each other. So there's this Muzungu who was in our London office and used to telex each other. Then he said, I'm visiting BP Tanzania. Since I hear I'm coming through Jomo Kenyatta, can we meet at least to know how we look at each other? We look physically. He was not coming to Kenya, but he thought, since we are friends over telephone and telexes, why don't we meet? So we met that. So he came out from Dar es Salaam, came outside because he had a time in between. We took tea together before he could go back again. Now, when we met, I said, oh, so I thought that's how you look like, you're excited about seeing each other. And then I asked him, are you married? He told me yes. How long have you been married? 8 years. How many children do you have so far? None. I said, oh, sorry. The guy asked me, sorry about what? But I thought for an African, if you're 8 years without a child, what else can you say back? Sorry. Because that is 30 years ago. That's in the 5 or thereabout, or in the 6. But I don't think I've changed even now. I'll tell you sorry. But the guy told me, we were professionals when we were dating. And we told each other, given our busy life, we have no place at all for a child. Here's Mr. Nana. With the kind of busy job we do in Shell, if a child comes in, it will mess up even our holiday. It was my time now to be in shock. My mouth was open. Just like it was shocked. Now I said, hey, I told my wife, I can't see any hope for Europe. That level of selfishness. You are brought up by somebody you don't want to bring up. It's somebody. This is selfishness. And I thought, this is terrible. Those people need a someone. Now, many years later, I considered the matter. And I asked myself, the average Kenyan family in the 90s, I don't know if it's true in the new millennium, the husband, you met in the university, the husband is a professional, the wife is a professional. What normally happens? You get wedded, 9 months later you get a baby, but nothing changes in your professional life. Am I right? Mm-hmm. You can do the same. In fact, if the lady is very senior, like a bank manager, she may not even want. You see, 2 months away from the bank, there may be a lot of that has gone wrong. So she goes for maternity 1 week to delivery. And about 1 week after delivery, she turns off the milk so that the things don't go badly in the bank. And she goes back to the bank, and the child has to take formula milk. Am I right? Yes. Are these things happening?
Yes.
Now, after that, when she is now back and working, the child is actually not being looked after by either of the husband and wife. Being looked after by, after this 3 dropout, we call a house girl. Now, ask yourself. But by the way, just as a joke, when you run to the office with a child's milk, what do you normally remember? You are an adult. You never got any milk at all, and you're an adult. You never got any milk. And the milk only came when the baby came. Doesn't that tell you it's not your milk? The milk must be belonging to the baby. Now, when you run away with the baby's milk to the office, what are you? People who take other people's things. What do you normally call them? Thieves. Now you know who you are. You understand clearly. You know, the nutritionists are telling us that in order for the baby to get immunity, they must breastfeed, isn't it?
Yes.
And the educated people know that better than uneducated.
Yeah.
What's happening? The children of uneducated people are suckling and getting immunity. The ones for professionals are no longer suckling and therefore falling out immunity. Am I right?
Yes.
All because of lack of work and life
Balance.
Back to the story. Let me ask you, if you are to be the judge, between the Mzungu who knew he cannot afford time for the child, and they didn't get any, and this African who knew they have not time for the child and still got one, who is better, who is more righteous than the other? The Mzungu. Now I no longer blame them. I'm getting the point.
Yes.
That you need to weigh your things. You cannot get a child and behave like you have no child. It means you have to look at your life. And you need to understand that a child within the first 10 years of life, that's when you make, they say, worldview. What is worldview? Worldview are the glasses through which you interpret life. They are made up by the time you count your age in double digits. Worldview is what makes you call this good and this one bad. I know that because when I was still working for Shell, I had one of them Wazungus visiting us, and we were going all over. I was operations manager, so I was taking him all over the country. We were in Mombasa, and I wanted to give him a treat. Which is the most expensive hotel in Mombasa? Tamarind. I don't know if it has changed, but it's very expensive. It's a seafood restaurant. And it was so, I don't know if it has changed, because once I stopped paying me, I stopped going there. Remember, you have to live within your means. So I've never gone there. I don't go there. Now, so, and then, when we reach there, you know, there's a boat. The restaurant is a boat. You order, by the time you're ordering, you are at the seashore. The boat starts moving as you're eating. By the time you finish, you are back. Of course, the price has to pay for the boat that has moved around. But that's not the point. The point is, they ask you to come to order. Instead of giving you a menu, you come and see the seafoods moving. The snails are moving. The crabs are moving backwards. You know, they have legs everywhere. And then you are told to choose one. You just pointed it. And then they pick it to cook for you. Now, I went there. And instead of going towards, I started running away. Now, how can one eat a snail surely? How? You run away from it. And then the crabs eat you. You don't eat it. So there's no way I would sit there. Now, and then the Mzungu will say, Mr. Ngana, oh, that's very kind of you. I could not afford this. Oh, thank you. I'll remember this for life. See, we are looking at the same thing. The Mzungu is watering. I'm running away. Why is the difference? It's called worldview. Worldview are the glasses through which you interpret things. So you are looking at the same thing, but a Mzungu grew up being told by the parents, seafoods are only for the rich. Me, I know seafoods are for the sea animals. Am I communicating? There is nothing. So both of us are looking at the same thing, but you are seeing different things. So you need to understand, if you don't stay with your child in the first 10 years of life, you are not the parents. Are you getting my point? You are not the parents. Why? Who you become is 20% nature and 80% nurture. What is nature? Your genes, your IQ, your whatnot. But 80% is where he grows up. Okay, my point? So if a house girl brings up a child, you need to understand that at the end of life, he is more the child of the house girl than of you, professor. So you ask, how? I'm a professor. Your mother is a professor. How come you're not passing? How can he pass? He is not your child. He is not your child. It's important to understand. We are 80% nature and 80% nurture. Who brings us up? So you need to understand that if you are not living a balanced life, that's what you are doing. You are giving money because you are able to make it, but that is not your child. At the best, you are a sponsor. No, sorry, I don't mean that. I don't mean a sponsor. But you are not both the mother and the father. Because these days they are all running away. Am I right?
Yes.
So it's not a question of. So you need to ask yourself, is that true? Is that true of your life? Now, maybe professionally, your boss is very happy with you. You have done very, very well. But are your children, of course they don't have a vote, but it is you to check yourself. Are you really being fair to them? Maybe your business life has done very well, but your spouse, are you housemates or married? You know, you can be housemates. Mm-hmm. Before, when I left campus, we were three university students got a house together, and we are sharing the rent. We are not married, we are simply housemates. And many marriages are simply housemates. Because we are not seeing each other, not influencing each other. That's what you are. You now can understand what I'm talking about when I say, a student sitting for an exam that had 5 questions. If you have 5 questions and you are supposed to do the 5 questions in 3 hours, let's say 2 hours, that means you have 30 minutes per question, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But this guy took 110 minutes to answer the first question. Why? As soon as he saw it, and it was the one he was studying last night, he said, hey, Boka. He wanted the examiner to hear everything he knew, and unfortunately he knew too much. By the time he woke up, in 120 minutes, 110 had been done on the first question. Then he woke up, and he realized he still has another 4 questions to be done in 10 minutes. You can guess what happened. Did he pass? No. He got the whole 20 marks for that question. Everything. The examiner gave everything. Then he got 5 in 1, 5, just to see he wrote something. 5, 5, 5. So 5, he got an E. Am I right? Mm. The guy was clever, but he failed. Why did he fail? Because he succeeded in one question and left no time for the other question. Mm. That is true of many of us. When we look at our professional life, we have an A in that question. We look at the way we look after our children, we have an E. We look at the way we look at our spouses, we have an E. We look at the way we balance our expenses and finances, another E. 4 E's and 1 A equal D. Actually, no, not a D. It's Bakri E. It's an E. So you say, but how can I fail? I'm professor. Don't you know the impact I made in Kenya? Thank you. That's why we give you a A. We also agree. We also agree. You have done very well. But you failed in all others. So average grade? E. I'm asking you, is that true of your life? And you know what happens? When you are so successful professionally, the day you will wake up and discover the other 4 are badly done, you even mess up your professional area. Because you'll be struggling to catch up and you're a total mess. And you end up a failure in every, am I right?
Yes.
The same way the student, when you woke up, could not even write sense because of the time remaining. That's exactly what will happen. So if you truly want to be called a success, you cannot be a success because you are a success in one area. You can only be said to be a success if you are a success in all areas. And it will be important for you to look at, to see how that will be done. I know some of you are Muslims, but allow me to use a Bible verse. Luke chapter 2 verse 15 says, and Jesus grew in wisdom and stature, in favor with God and man. And that way, the Bible gave us the various sections of your life. You must do well professionally, intellectually, in wisdom. You must do well physically, in stature, and you must look at that department. You must do well spiritually, in favor with God, but you must also do well socially. And you need to look at the 4 areas and ask yourself, do you have a balance? Can you say, like Jesus, you are doing well in all the 4 areas? Or is there an area which is not doing well? Let me now divide it into a different way of looking at it. I want to divide your life into 3. Private life, personal life, public life. When I talk about private life, I mean an area where even your wife or your spouse is not welcome. There is a part of you that nobody knows except you and God. How are you doing in your private area? I don't pretend, like I told you, I've been married at 7 years, and there are still things my wife is discovering about me after that 7 years. So it means there's a part of me that only me and God knows. I want to ask you, how are you looking at that private life? Nobody gets to know much about it. But you need to look to invest in it and be a success in it. Number 2 is personal life. What do you mean by personal life? Personal life is where you allow the privileged few to come in. Normally, you don't require your toes to count the number of people in your personal life. You require only your fingers. Even to get 10 is on the higher side. For anybody seated here to tell me he has 10 past people in the personal area. A personal area is where you open up to somebody. You take seats, you take risks. You are vulnerable to somebody. We are very defensive, am I right? Yes. So you need only very few people. Some are relatives, some are spouses, some are a few close friends who have been consistent over time. But my friend, if you are not doing well in your personal area, you'll be in trouble. Why? You are going to embarrass yourself in the public area, which is a public area where you deal with everybody. So you are supposed to cook things in your private life, test them in your personal life, because even if you make a mistake, your friends will forgive you before you take them to your public life. If you just have a discovery in a dream, don't go telling the whole of university, multimedia university. Go to your personal area. Say, by the way, this is what I saw in the dream. They might tell you that it's because of the ugali you ate. Now, they will be frank with you. Don't go to the public. A lot of people mess up because they have no personal area. And it will be very important that you take that. The personal area is a place where you have friends. I've written a book called Friendship. And I recommend that everybody should have at least 3 friends, minimum. And by the way, do not tell me your wife is your friend. Your wife is your wife. Am I communicating? It's illegal. You can even produce a marriage certificate. That doesn't make her a friend. Friendship is voluntary. Are we together? Yes. So she has a choice whether to be friends or not. Of course, she used to be friends when she married you. But the question is now, it's important to understand that you cannot force somebody to be a friend. It's their choice to be a friend or not. Your son is your son. You can even produce DNA test to prove he's your son. But to become your friend, he has to make a choice. Are we together?
Yes.
So you eat their work, and nobody becomes your friend without investment in time. If you have no time for me, I'm your acquaintance. I'm not your friend. And many people we claim our friends are actually acquaintances. That's when we meet and we talk about Kenyatta and Odinga. Those are same subjects we talk about. We talk about whether the hair is getting red or green. Now, those are. But when it comes to personal issues, only very few people are allowed in that area. So you need to understand it's important to have minimum of 3 friends. Friend number 1, somebody maturer than you. Somebody you regard better, whether it's professionally or it's socially. If your marriage has problems, look for a friend whose marriage is better than yours. Why do you need a friend maturer than you? You need him because he will make you continually aspire to go higher. If you are just, a lot of us are so proud, we just like people below us. So we are the best of the mediocre. But we are also mediocre. Because our friends are Mediocre. So, but we are the best among them. So we are the best of them,
Mediocre.
but we also remain
Mediocre.
mediocre. It will be important that you look for friends who will help you in your personal area, who are better than you. How do you know somebody is better than you? It's because whenever you are talking to him, three things. You feel a little intimidated. He is so much better than you. Even when you tell him, I quarreled with my wife, and you know he never quarrels with his, your legs are having fellowship. You don't exactly know how to do it. So many of us do not have that kind of a friend because we don't like being uncomfortable. So that's the first thing. Number two is that whenever he says something, you feel like taking a notebook and a pen. You feel like every word he's saying is important. Do you have people like that? Mm-hmm. But they also intimidate you, but you actually gain. But thirdly, because you can see when you have implemented ideas they have given you, your life has become better. So a lot of us have, in the personal area, have friends, but you don't have a friend who is better than you. Because you always want to be king, and you'll be king of the mediocre. Are we together? Mm-hmm. It's important to look for people better than you, and want to be friends with them. And it's important to have them. Friend number two. By the way, why don't we have those kind of friends? Three things. Number one, because they intimidate us. Mm-hmm. Number two, because we don't want to work hard. We are lazy and we don't want to improve. Number three, because we think they will be proud. When they learn, when they compare, he'll become proud. So I don't want to be near him. And we also want to feel better, so we don't go to them. Friendship number two. In the personal area, you are going to need somebody who is not your level. The reason you are going to them is not to gain anything, is that to give away. There's something you are better than, and you look at him and you see, I can help him become better. If you don't have a friend like that, you have a problem. Three problems you have if you don't have a friend who is lower than you. Number one, it just shows you are mean. You don't want to give. You are trying to get from others, but you are giving nothing. And the meanness will even affect you at your work. Number two, when you don't have somebody who is lower than you, you tend to drop down. Why? when you have nobody lower, you are likely to tend towards going to that level. Because it's not a matter of thing. Now, and the number three, we are looking why it is important to get that person. If you don't have that kind of a person, you don't have motivation to keep improving. Let me tell you, then look at it positively. When you have somebody less than you, what happens? He forces you never to backslide. You can't tell somebody, no, you don't beat a woman. It is wrong. Yes. Unless you are not a full man. Proper men talk. Yes. Only children fight each other. Yes. You can't tell him like that, then in the evening you are beating yours. As soon as you try your hand, you remember what you told? Can you see it forces you are started to go? Because you can't go down. You can't tell somebody, this is the way life is organized. Young man, you shouldn't be doing like this, you should do it. Then you realize, I'm not doing it. It puts pressure on you to operate higher, not for your sake, for his sake. But you're also benefiting, isn't it? Yes. And that will be the benefit. But of course, number two is that as you invest yourself in the person, you will see the people improving. There's nothing better. He'll not pay you the money, he's just a friend. But as you see him improving, you sleep happy every night. Hey, you mean my life can mean that like to that family, to that person. You get joyful. You work, and when you are at work, you are whistling. Say, what have you won? A Rotary? No, you just got a telephone call from somebody. How what you told him helped him. Are we together? Yes. So you need to understand as you go to that person, he helped you. And thirdly and importantly, because of behaving like that, learning that you are dealing with this person, he is helping you. Once you are dealing with that person, thirdly, you improve your working environment. Because when your friends are mediocre, it's good for you to also become mediocre. But because you are pulling them up, you are pulling everybody up. Those are two friends. But I had said how many? Three. So I still have to tell you that one. The third one is even more critical. The third one is a person of your level. You don't go to them to gain anything or to give anything. You just enjoy yourself. The danger with the guy older than you, whenever you are going there, your legs are having fellowship. It's not very comfortable. You need somebody else who is like you. You quarrel with your wife, he also quarrels with his. So when you eat, he doesn't laugh at you. So you are able to talk clearly. Now we quarreled again. Oh, even mine yesterday. Now you need to understand, when you are exactly the same level, you are struggling. You are able to help one another. It's a critical thing. So a friend equal, how do you know somebody is of that level? When you hear him knock at the door and you hear it's Baba Kamau, you don't change anything. There are people you hear it's Baba Kamau, you run inside to where you are dying. You are a woman and you hear Mama Kamau is calling, you don't run for the weak. You just appear the way you are. That is the friend I'm talking about. This friend is critical. Why? The younger friend or the lower friend, you can't share your failures with them. Why? You think you'll destroy them. The older friend, you are so intimidated, you don't know how to tell him you failed again after they have given you advice. So although they are very helpful, the older ones, sometimes you are not open enough for them to help you. But the guy you are level, just I mess up again. Can you imagine? I signed the wrong voucher. And because he's your close friend, he's not going to report you to the boss. He will cry with you. Am I communicating? So you have somebody, and crying, although African men, we are not allowed to, but crying is therapeutic, isn't it? So you need somebody you can cry, and you not report there, hey, I was crying. Now you need a friend. You can cry, and you can mention. Of course, the recommendation is that friend is your spouse. But if he's not your spouse, you must look for somebody who is that level. And you need them. If you don't have them, your life will be the poorer. Am I communicating? So you need to look for them. You need, my recommendation is, if you are married, cultivate your friendship to the level where you can be open. You mess up, you just come and tell your wife, I messed up. Do you know what it cost multimedia? 20 million shillings of my error. You can't share that with everybody. You cannot share with your junior, because if you share with your junior, you go to your boss and say, surely, I know there is no vacancy, but I realize one will appear soon. When I heard what my boss did, I knew there is likely to be a vacancy. That's the way people report you. Without reporting, they are just talking. So you dare not tell your junior, isn't it? You dare not tell your senior, because he might fire you. Are you getting my point? You need a safe place to share. Am I communicating? That safe place are the friends at that level. So I've mentioned quite a bit about that. So to live a balanced life means you are investing in the private, in the personal, and in the public. Unfortunately, we spend a lot of time in the public life. And yet the public life is supported by these two others. My post office box is in City Square. And I still remember, and I've had it for the last something years. I must have had it before I was married, so I've had it for almost 4 decades. So when they were building Times Tower, I was still going up that bridge and watching. They started digging the first man. I came the second man, they were still digging. I asked my wife, have they forgotten they were going up? Because they were telling us they were going to make the highest building in Nairobi. But they kept going. The third man, they were still going. I thought, what's wrong with them? And because I'm not a construction guy, I didn't understand. Do you know now, when you look at Times Tower, you can't see all that underground. There must be several floors underground. Because I remember them going down. And they finally covered up. So when you see the Times Tower, you are not aware about the hidden area. Private area is hidden and deep. It's like roots. And the weaker it is, the greater the possibility, with a small tremor, the whole building will come down. That's why you watch many people. By the time they go to retirement, they are a total mess. You know what happens? He was a tower without foundation. Or the foundation was there, but very shallow. It's important to ask yourself, Are you times tower minus foundation? And nobody else can answer that question. It's only you yourself. Even your spouse can't. Let's now go quickly a little splitting the private, using the previous verse. We talked about in the private area is spiritual. What is spiritual? Connecting with your creator. Nobody can help you that. The pastor can't help you. He can talk to you about it, but it's a personal area. You know, if for example, every morning you wake up and lock up yourself, you read the Quran or you read the Bible and you spend the time. Would anybody else know? No. It's a personal thing. If you don't, will anybody know? No. Some pastors just pick some sermons from the internet because they don't even read the Bible at all. Okay, after some time you will tell this guy is an internet guy. You know, these days people Google, as you are talking, they are Googling to see whether you are repeating something in the internet. But what I'm trying to tell you is the spiritual issue will affect your public life, but only you can deal with it. And you know, sometimes you see people are caught in something and say, me, I can never do that. Never can do it. Please don't say never if you are not looking after your spiritual life. Some of the things you used to call bad, over time, cease to be bad. Am I right? Yes. Somehow, your conscience is like a window. If you open these curtains, you can see clearly outside. If nobody cleans that window, after 6 months, you look outside and you cannot see. After 1 year, it will be all like any other. Am I right? Mm-hmm. The same way with your conscience. The many things you say you can't do now, kind of ignore your spiritual life, and you'll be doing things you can't imagine. You see an old man running after a small girl in sanctuary. What's wrong with you? In your 40s, you are running with people age of your daughter. What's wrong with you? That is you in a few years. If you have no spiritual life, you'll be surprised. You know, I keep telling people it's very interesting that we normally say women are the weaker sex. What a lie. Girls, small ones, can get the professor at any moment without any difficulty. And if you think you are great, think of a guy called Clinton, the president of the greatest nation in the world. A small girl came from Indonesia called Lewinsky. Do I have to tell the rest of the story?
No.
And you need to understand, men are the weaker sex. Any small girl can get any man, anytime, and you start behaving. Say, turn left, and it's being moved by a small girl. Ignore your spiritual life, and you'll soon be cabbage for those small girls. Are we together? Mm-hmm. You see somebody promoting a small girl, one after the other. You wonder, is he mad? He's not mad. He's mesmerized. Because he doesn't invest in his spiritual life. That's what when you talk about living a balanced life, means you are looking after your spiritual aspect. Number 2, and it's private, intellectual development. It's not something anybody can do for you. You can compare papers. I hear in the university world it is PP, publish or perish. But you don't have to publish. You can repeat people's articles, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Now you need. In fact, I was talking with a professor the other day who told me he can't believe it happens in university, not your university, another one. And he told me that he does a project with a student, a master student. They are just about to publish. Before theirs comes out, a colleague actually sends it. Have you heard of those things? Mm-hmm. Then you go to the vice chancellor. The vice chancellor says that's a personal matter. But the thing is already published. Even if you write yours, you will now be accused of. And it is actually your work. You know? And you see within no time the guy is made a professor on other people's work. You need to understand it clearly. It is a private matter how you develop intellectually. You need to make a commitment that you will not allow your brain to be lazy. In 1969, in my high school, I just made a decision that I'll always be reading a book which has nothing to do with the classwork. Just a book to understand. By the grace of God, it will be 50 years soon. I have never not been reading a book. Don't ask me how quickly. When my children were in boarding, they would go, come back community time and sit on the same book. They said, surely, Papa, how can you be reading the same book? I said, my commitment is to read. I didn't say how fast. But I'm always reading a book. Always reading a book. At that time, I had no idea I would become a writer. Now I've written, my 9th book is about to be published in the next 2 weeks. But if I never read, would I have written? No. Especially when I'm not in the academic world. I'm in industry. I would not have read. But my reading is when I now realize, kumbe it works. I wasn't reading to give anybody. I was only reading to develop myself intellectually. My friend, you can be a lecturer and you're becoming narrower and narrower because reading less and less. Have you heard the definition of professor? It's a guy who knows more and more with the time about less and less until he knows everything about nothing. Now you need to ask yourself, is that what you are? Because you are narrowing yourself until you are an expert of nothing. So it's important to understand you must develop intellectually. And doesn't mean you only know you are thing. You need to understand things in the wider circle, isn't it? So that you can understand how my knowledge relates with other people's knowledge. That's private. Nobody else can read for you. You know, for you to read, you have to sacrifice another thing, isn't it? Maybe there is a program, you have to stop it so that you read. That means self-management. And you need to understand, as you read generally, when you come to your public life, you'll be somebody people want to be with, isn't it? You'll be somebody teams want to have in their team because you spend time. Now that area is the body. Again, it's private. Whether you exercise, don't exercise, nobody can help you. You can tell your wife, I've gone to the gym. Then go to the gym and talk to Onyango until the time is over. Then you take your bag and go back. Only you know whether you exercise or you don't. Now, a lot of people go for exercise, but it's backbiting. It's a place to talk. And there's nothing wrong with talking. But the reason you went is body exercise. You know, the Bible says bodily exercise is profitable. So you don't require a doctor to tell you that. So you need to understand the Bible already said we need to do what? To exercise. So what you are saying is, you need to ask yourself, and it's a private matter, how are you resting? You can work yourself to death. Is that possible?
Yes.
You need to understand that God decreed for every 7 hours, one is rest. Okay, for every 7 days. 1 day is a day of rest. But you don't rest before you earn. You have to work 6 days to 1 day or 1 day of rest. But the rest must be there. The way He created our bodies, you refuse to rest at your own peril. It's not voluntary. It's compulsory. Am I communicating?
Yes.
So when you are teaching in multimedia, then you are meeting in multipurpose, then you are teaching in multicam come together. Now, and you are also trying to publish. And you still have a wife. And your child is 3 years. Now, are you getting the point?
Yes.
You go nowhere. Why? Your body will give way. And it's a private matter. The Vice Chancellor cannot help you. So, rest and exercise. Then diet. What you eat. Okay, your wife can influence it, but she can't determine it. It's important to ask yourself, how are you looking? That's a private area. So when you talk about balanced life, it means in your private life, you are developing spiritually, you are developing intellectually, and your body is getting better and better. On the personal life, which means you have family and friends and rest time. When did you last visit your mother? I know you may be 60 like me and your mother is 90, but you're still supposed to visit her for 3 reasons. Number 1, nobody knows you the way she knows you. She knows you before you knew yourself. Sometimes she tells you things you have no idea. Am I right? So once in a while when you want to know yourself, you need to talk to her, isn't it? Number 2, it is important to look after her the way she looked after you. Number 3, you always feel nice after you have had a good time with your mother. Also your father. No, don't forget your father. But I'm saying, how much time are you investing socially? That's the personal life. Then on the public life, do you have a professional commitment? Do you earn your salary or you get your salary? You know, there are people who get their salary. And others earn. You have a salary for working 30 days a month. But if you have to be honest, only 10 were done for multimedia. And if you didn't do that the days, it is important to tell the HR people, this month, please remove my salary. I don't want to be a thief. So just take a bit of the money. I did not work here. I worked somewhere else. Do people do that? No. That's why thieves are many. Now it's very important to understand. The Bible says, if you don't work, don't eat. It means when you put the ugali there, before you eat, ask yourself, have I worked today? If I have not worked, tell your wife, I know you have done a good job, but I don't want to go to hell. Just give your ugali. Because the Bible is saying clearly, if you don't work, don't. You know, some people think they are on the 10 commandments. Here is one more. Don't eat if you have not worked. So it's important to understand, to live a balanced life means you are working productively. Are we together? If you're a student, you are investing time to be a student. If you are not a student, then you must be earning your money rather than getting it. So public life means you are contributing to society and they are paying you for it. Number 2, if your spiritual life is doing well, you need to share it with others. Either in the mosque or in the church, and you need to play a role there. That's a public place. So that you can share the many things you are learning with others in the public area. And you'll be better to ask yourself, are you a bench warmer? You know, because you see, if I don't go, it will be dry. So you appear in church to warm the bench. Or are you an active participant who is sharing the things you are learning so that others can benefit? That's a public life. And then finally, in the public area, community work. These are things you do not to be paid, but to improve the community, to improve your area. Let me ask you, your old primary school, how have you invested in it? Or it just became you don't want to lose the title, the best student in the history of Kamagogo. So you'd wonder if you improve it, there might be a better student. So you don't invest at all there. So you need to ask yourself, is there something you are doing, not to earn a daily bread, not to develop yourself, but for the good of the community? Are you the type of person where in Nairobi we have security groups, isn't it? You are the one who doesn't contribute. Do you know people like that? The neighbors have to strategize how to get the money because he has no commitment to helping the public. Now, my time is far gone and I want us to have a time of discussion. But I think it's an important issue we need to deal with. I want to run through the list. Gubo will email, I've already sent the notes to him. Gubo will email the notes to you. I call them prerequisites to living a balanced life. Number 1, avoid the dictatorship of the agent. Avoid the dictatorship of the agent. Your life has many activities. Some are important, others are urgent. Every time you are planning your day or planning your week or planning your month, list the things you need to do. Then after you have listed, find out which ones are urgent, then which one are important, and which ones are not important. They are just nice to do. You know what happens? The urgent ones are always done, and they leave out there. But let me just give you an example. If your car exhaust is leaking, you know, as you drive out of your estate, you are making noise everywhere. Is that car going to come back like that in the evening? You stop everything to go and repair? But you know, an exhaust can harm you. I'm not an engineer, my friend can help me better. But basically, it's not a major part of the car. You can go on for some time until you have time to repair the exhaust. What about if the starter is giving trouble? Or or the brake. My friend, that is now important. You should not move out until your brakes are repaired. But what happens? As long as you have learned how to hold the handbrake, you might go for a week with risking your life, and you can't do that with the exhaust. The exhaust is urgent, but not important. The brakes are important, but not urgent. Now you need to ask yourself, what comes first? In managing yourself, refuse the dictatorship of the urgent. Always go for what is important. First of all, list them: urgent, important, and not important, and not urgent. Then you sort them out. The first thing to do must be both important and urgent. The second thing to do must be important. Then the urgent and not important remains number 3. And many things that people do, even if you don't do them, nothing will go wrong. You cannot live a balanced life when you allow the dictatorship of the urgent. Number 2, you must live a disciplined life. Don't live your life, what do you do? Whatever you say. Can we go for lunch? Yes. What are you going to have done if I never called you for lunch? Don't agree to go for my lunch if it is going to mess up your program. Am I communicating? You must weigh. Of course, you have to find a way, a nice way of, you don't want to lose a friend. You need to find a nice way of saying no. But the answer must be no. A lot of people forgot the dictionary has a word called no. They're always saying yes. So it will be important to live a disciplined life. That means if you decide to wake up at 6, even if the sleep is sweet, you kick the blanket or tell your wife to beat you up. You must come out of bed. Why? You have made a commitment to wake up at 6. And there was a reason. Don't make decisions quickly without thinking. So by the time you decide to wake up at 6, there was a reason. Then at 6 you must wake up. Are we together? If you want to live a balanced life, it will be because you are doing the things you set out to do. So you don't stay like the student, you stay on one question 110 minutes. Is that discipline? Mm-hmm. Discipline means you first of all set aside and say, each question is 20 marks. So I will give you them equal time. So I want to do this question for 30 minutes. Even if you have more materials, you have to stop it. Because its time is over. That's what you need to deal with. So it means if you have decided you are taking your child for swimming, even if an important meeting comes, if it's not urgent, since taking your child is both important and urgent, you take your child for swimming. Are we together? That's how you end up with a balanced life. Because you'll see many things that are time wasters will be dealt with. Decision made on how well the item supports fulfillment of your call. I've run out of time, but I would have spent a bit of time that we find organizations have strategic plans. Does multimedia have a strategic plan?
Yes.
Unfortunately, many seated here, some seated here, don't have a strategic plan for their life. They just live one day after another. If you want to ask them what they want to be in 40 years, they have no idea. Whatever come, whatever may. Now, you need a strategic plan for your own life. If I ask you, what is your strategic intent, your strategic vision? What is your mission in life? Once you are clear what you want to produce at your help, you need to ask yourself, what do you want to see in your children when they are old, when they are mature? And you have to decide that when they are babies. That's a vision. What do you mean by a vision? What do you want to see? A child who has gone through alliance? Is that what you call? Is that what you want to produce? That your pride will be he's doing law in Parklands campus? Is that what you see? What do you see in your son as an adult? What you see at the end will determine what you do with him. You have 3 schools to choose from, and you will leave a school which is academically performing well if it is burning schools. Am I communicating? Mm-hmm. Why? Because you don't want a child who will be burning houses. And a lot of parents don't do that. You just hear, I've taken my child to Turi. Then, sure, you're not richer than me. I'm also taking my child to Turi. Why? Because they are horse riding. Do you see your child as a horse rider later in life? So it's important to have strategic intent of your own life, your family. You need to tell me what is your family vision and mission. That one you'll discuss with your spouse as a family. But you also need to give me your personal vision and mission. That then, on what then happens, it makes your decisions very easy. Because activities will be important on the basis of whether they help you to realize your life's calling. If an activity is important to the group, but it's not taking you towards your calling, will you give it time? No. But if you have no calling, then everything is okay, isn't it? You know, if you have no aim, then you can always hit whatever you aim at. Because in a direction is okay. You shoot this way, it's okay. I shot. Now, but if you have a specific target, then your life will be drawn towards it. That's why you need to sit here and tell me, do you work in a house or you just teach? Why do you teach? What is your calling? Number 4, ability to say no and yes gracefully. I think I've already referred to that. Then next one, avoid addiction. Any addiction means you have become, it's a good thing, but it's holding you prisoner. And when I say addiction, there are many. It may be just a guy who you have to see every day. You know, we must meet in reminder. We must meet. Sometimes you are discussing a lot of sweet nothings. No, you need to understand you are becoming addicted. When you don't see Onyango, your life, that night, you have wonders, are you sick? No, it's only because you have not seen Onyango. It means you are addicted to Onyango. The way to deal with the addiction is to go cold turkey. Say Onyango for the next 3 months, we will never meet. What have I done? If the problem is not you, I'm the one, I'm in trouble. Please help me by not seeing me for the next 3 months. Once you have stayed 3 months and you have managed, now you can meet him again. When I talk addiction can be many. It can be a TV program where you even silence everybody. I come to visit you. When it is mother-in-law, I'm talking to you, but you're looking at mother-in-law. Mm-hmm. You certainly can't. I don't come to your house every day. You have become addicted to mother. How do you deal with it? For the next 1 month, no mother-in-law. And after, once you have managed, you can now see it at your control. Never allow anything in your life, whether good or bad, to control you. Even a good thing, when it controls you, will mess your balance in life. Am I communicating? Mm-hmm. So you need to understand what are those things which you are addicted to. Then the issue of prioritizing. Why should you discover your life's purpose? I've already talked about that, and the importance of planning, the process of discovering your life's mission, identifying your gifts, doing a SWOT analysis on yourself. So, as I finish, I am saying you must have a PDP, personal development plan. Identify your vision and mission and strategies, identify your goals, prioritize your actions, plan your time, take a sense of how you use your time, and not the time wasters. Use your diary. Don't trust your brain. That way you're able to, somebody calls you and tells you, can we go out? Sorry. Let me check my diary. Oh, sorry, it's already taken. But if you have no diary, you go wherever, isn't it? So it's important. Block of time when you cannot be disturbed. If you are really going to practice, there's a time you tell your children, everybody, this time I'm blocking. And as long as they know you are going to be available later, are they going to refuse? No. You must have relaxed time, and you must prepare for activities so that you don't waste time. Sorry, we could have gone item by item, but my time is up, and I still want us to have at least 15 minutes of open discussion. It's a big subject, and it can go on for forever. So, if there's something I say that confused you, don't allow me to go before I unconfuse you. But maybe there is something I said, and it just clicked. You agree with it. If you repeat it in your words, somebody else might be helped. So you may repeat with something I said for the sake of others. Something you feel, that is helpful to me. In that process, it might help others. Let's start with Google.
No, mine is different.
Yeah.
I realized when you talked so much to the lecturers, you forgot some of us were in procurement and administration. But still the message was well received.
Okay, I need to apologize. When I came, Professor Mayaka was among the first people here. A person who keeps time. Can we clap for him? That's why my mind is thinking about lecturers. But the principles are exactly the same for anybody. Would you agree with me? Yes. So don't worry about the example. Keep the principle and apply it to yourself, whatever the job you do. Everybody needs it. So I have already apologized. Now you can ask me questions or make comments.
Question?
Yes.
Or probably I would want to know how corruption can ruin someone's work life.
You know, since it was not my topic, I've written a book, a big book on integrity and corruption. So it's a big subject I like talking about. But then, what I was talking about is related. Why do people become corrupt when they are unable to live within their means? He's driving a car. You know, a Mercedes may be 6 million, 10 million shillings. The other day, I think they were talking about buying for Mugenda, the Vice Chancellor of Kenyatta, a 10 million car. But you know, they only carry 5 people, am I right?
Yes.
And you can get a Dubai car, 300 shillings, it will carry how many people? What are you actually buying? You're not buying a car, you're buying transport. But you say, no. A Mercedes can go at 300 kilometers an hour. But the kind of a small car you bought, the small Toyota car you bought, of which maybe it can only go 150 kilometers per hour. But let me tell you the truth. In Kenya, we don't allow people to go beyond 100. So whether you have the power machine, if you are going to Nakuru, and we both keep the law, we arrive in Nakuru at the same time. So, but if you insist on buying the 10 million one, you have to look for money, isn't it? That's where corruption comes. And the moment you are corrupt, it corrupts your mind, corrupts your pride. Somebody say, wow, this is a wonderful car, how did you get it? Don't worry, we just work hard. Why are you covering it up? It's not a story you want to give. When you are a grandfather like me, an old man, and your grandchild asks you, hey, how did you get this vehicle? Don't worry. Even 40 years later, it will still be following you. Are we together? It's not a story you would like to tell anybody. So it will certainly impact anyway. Once you are corrupt, it interferes with your professionalism. You always want to cut corners. And it doesn't matter whether you're a lecturer, an accountant, in procurement, wherever you are, you will never be professional once corruption enters your mind. You will cut corners. So it does come. But maybe at another time we need to talk about integrity and what the values of integrity. Yes, Madam.
Yeah, I think my comment is what you mentioned about personal life and the issue of family. And I think you zeroed in on the mother and you said we have an obligation to visit our mothers because nobody knows us better than they do.
Yeah.
I think that's something sometimes people forget. And then you also mentioned the fact that too, we need to help them the way they helped us, and then that after visiting them, we will feel better. I think to me that was very profound. And in this era of social media, I don't know whether calling them every day can substitute that visit. And also, I don't know the reason why you picked on a mother and not a father, because there's an issue with fathers.
But I think I corrected myself later. Now, first of all, let me tell you something. No amount of social media will replace wanting to meet somebody face to face. And I'm not suggesting you should not be in social media. I'm only saying it should be a way of, you know, if you send me a WhatsApp, I'm happy, but I know it costs you very little. You may even have been dozing. So woke up and greeted me. If you come to my house, I know it took time and effort. Are we together?
Yes.
So there is no way, and I'm not suggesting you don't use social media. I'm only saying we get the message. So you cannot assume that I'll be very happy because every day you send me a WhatsApp. I know it's not costing you much. But I'm happy at least you're trying. You know, like they used to say on VOK, those of you who are in your 50s, you remember they used to say, VOK ni nusu ya? Sio kuonana, nusu tu. So it will be important to understand social media is important, but it's not the. But let me also talk about now ringing your mother daily. That may be the end of your marriage, if you are married. If you are talking to your mother daily, what are you telling her about? You soon talk about your husband. She will start running your own home. You know the Bible says, for this reason a man shall leave. So if a man is calling his mother daily, has he left? No. That's why you visit. So, everything has too much. Are we together? We are talking about balance. So, being with your parents constantly is a way of ruining your own marriage. The Bible taught, I don't know what the Quran says, but it is the Bible taught, you cannot have a successful marriage when your parents are involved in the marriage. So you must, and I don't know why the Bible emphasizes the man. Because a lot of things we call in-law problems is because the man refused to grow up. He allowed his own parents to start interfering with his own marriage. So it's important to understand, whereas calling daily may sound nice, but within no time, your mother will know the details of what happened in your life. And because she loves you, when there are challenges, she always side with the wife, with her daughter, isn't it? When the man and the mother of the boy, you always side with the boy. Am I right? Soon enough you'll be in trouble. So yes, relate, but be aware everything has a problem. In fact, my wife and I were counseling another couple, and the wife said, me, I talk to my mother daily. I don't know why he doesn't talk to his daily. I said, you don't understand what you are doing. Some of the strains you are now having are coming from that call daily. Because you soon talk and you keep saying, my mother says, my mother says, my mother says. The man starts getting intimidated, isn't it? So you wonder, did I marry two women? One here and the other one behind? The one I married. I can't handle two women. That's why I'm not polygamous. So it's important to understand that you need to have a balance. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's important. But your point is correct. Your point is the social area will help you even become more productive when you learn to interact with various people. And your parents are some of the people in the personal area. Yes, Professor.
Yeah, there is this example you gave us with the one woman
Yes.
who didn't have kids, I think maybe 20 years. You did end it. Where is the balance here? They don't have a family, they're just working.
No, by the way, it's a Muzungu.
Yes.
Their values are different from ours. He is very happy that during summer, they just leave their job and nobody ever bothers them. They are very, very happy with it.
So do they have a balance today?
Now, I said two evils, and I asked you which one is the better evil. And I told you, not to have any children is far better than Africans who get children automatically after the 8 months, but they don't look after those children. Because why? Not only is their life having problems, their children also have problems. So if you must do something evil, it should not include your children. So if you have no intention of your career being affected by your children, don't get any children. The other day I was talking in a college on this topic of relationship. And one lady put up the hand and said, she knows my wife is a lecturer in another university, and says, now, you are professionals with your wife. Now, I'm also intending to be a professional. If I'm a professional and my boyfriend is a professional, when we marry, should he interfere with my life? Obviously, she expected me to say no. I said, please, if you have no intention of your husband interfering with your marriage, with your life, don't get married. Because the moment you get married, you're in trouble. Remember, God called Abraham out of the Chaldeans. You remember the story in the Bible? What happened to Sarah? She could not be left. She also went. So, poor Sarah, if she wanted to stay in Chaldea, she could stay there. You need to understand, you can't call it a marriage unless you allow interference with your life. Your wife must approve any professional decision you make. It's going to affect her. Your husband must approve any professional decision you are making. Decide you don't want to be interfered with, you are not having a marriage. You are simply housemates. So I think you understand. I'm not suggesting it's good to refuse to get children. I'm only saying it's worse to get them and then you don't allocate them time. If you decide to be married, it will be important. I know it's a very challenging thing because you marry in your 20s, you are a junior in your job, you are struggling to improve. So in that struggle, you are getting children and ignoring them and keeping them, when because of the amount of work I'm doing, the children will live well. They will live well, but they will waste your money. Are we together? So it's important to understand, and a lot of things, at least I discovered it in Shell. You go quickly. By the age of 35, you are in top management. You know what happens? People start retiring. By the time I retired, in our management team, 40% of the people I was in the management team were 20 years younger than me. You see, you reach 40, you will reach the top. Unless you reach the company, you are at the top. So, where do you go? You just the top. The boy you are teaching, professor, the guys you are teaching, they will be simply professors with you. And you become even head of department managing you. Does that happen? Mm-hmm. So you need to understand what was the rush about. Allow people to overtake you. If they have no children, it's okay for them. For you, if the others are taking PhD in 2 years, take yours in 5 years. So that you allocate time to your family. Then you'll be made professors before you. Then you come along and join them. By the time you are retiring, nobody will know who became professor before the other. You just read your family going nowhere. Am I communicating?
Yes.
And that's what young people don't realize. That you are going to a limit. Whatever career you reach the top. And if you reach the 40 and you are retiring at 65 or 70, the others who are even now in high school will be with you in the same. That's what I found. I know some of the people now in management with me. I remember recruiting them as young people out of campus. Now they have gone one grade or the other. Now you are in the same grade. That's what you need to remind yourself. Do you know, even if you balance your life, if you are somebody who is competent, you will still reach the top, but at a later stage. Are we together? Because in fact, the bosses will be saying, please, why can't you? I want to send you for something. Say, no, don't send me now. Allow other people to go. I will go later. My child is now at this stage. And I told you something. By the age of 10, the world is made. Even if you are available when your children are teenagers, what happens? You'll be in the house, available to them. You call them, they come, and they say, Papa, what do you want? How is life? Is okay. Anything else? I've gone back to my room. When they are young, when the father comes home, they jump on you. Am I right? But that's when you are not available. When they don't want you, you are now available. Because teenagers don't want to spend time with their father. They only want him as a bank. You need to understand this. You need to understand clearly that if you are not available to your children before they are 10, your availability later is not useless, but it's not very useful. Why? Because they don't want you. Am I right? And it's not that they hate you. They just say a sign of maturity is to be less dependent on the parents. Am I right? So it's important to understand that relationship. That you must be available to you. If you are not, then please be like a Muzungu. Don't get any children. But I'm not saying it's a good thing. Yeah. Anybody else? Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. This was a very inspirational talk you have given us.
In the society we live in, especially this time, it's so-called information age. Information is available to even very young people in primary school, secondary school, and the society has also become very materialistic, finding very young people wanting to acquire wealth by any means. It's just a question I want to pose to you. Do you have an opportunity also to talk to younger generation, people who are in secondary school, primary school, so that they should appreciate that you need to work to have anything? At least you need to not actually...
You need a balanced life.
You need a balanced life. Not running after materialism, using any means, even if it is corruption. Because if you look at our society, you are talking about corruption. People are trying to access wealth, even if it is illegal.
Now, you know, we were in shock when the Aga Khan study came out. Remember the Aga Khan study that says young people are saying they want to be rich whichever way. Do you remember the study? Mm-hmm. And if that study is to be relied on, are we not in a crisis? Yeah. So your question is very relevant. But you see, the solution lies here. You all have children in one school or the other, isn't it? You are the one who needs to say, let's have a counseling, what they call group therapy, where students are brought together and somebody can challenge them and talk to them, isn't it? I give talks in schools, but then you can't go unless you're invited, isn't it? So if you really, and I know my children used to go to Hospital Hill, and we talk with headmaster, and we started having talks right in primary school. I give one talk, and I go put a group of parents. We are not charging. And the 7 and 8 are brought together, and we talk to them before they finish. My prayer is that they heard what we said. When my children went to high school, again, we tried to get involved with the school, so that you have outside help that the teachers may not necessarily be able to give. So I am agreeing with you. We need to find a way. Of course, we cannot fully replace the parents, but at least it's a rescue method, isn't it? Because the best person to help a child are the parents. But if they have missed, it's important to have. So my suggestion to you is, don't just be happy your children are passing. The children education must be like Jesus. They must grow in all areas. And you need to ask yourself, what spiritual development are your children getting? Intellectual they are doing. What spiritual development? What social development are they having? What are they learning? And because there are many people available beyond the teachers, I think it will be important to do that. But of course, even better still, why don't we also bring it to the Department of Education? Does Multimedia have a Department of Education?
No. We are planning to have one.
Yes. Then we need to teach these things to the teacher trainees, isn't it? So they can understand that child is not just a brain. He's wider than just a brain. And create curriculum that helps somebody to end up with a balanced living. Who wants to be the last to comment or raise a question? Yes?
Thank you. Mine is actually agreeing with you, because you say if there's something that you have said that one agrees with.
Yeah.
Especially in this area of the balance. And more so when we come to the church community work.
Yeah.
A lot of us do not give back. Personally, I have been involved too much in that. And there is a lot of joy, and I normally tell those I interact with, there is a lot of joy which has really changed my life and transformed my life by giving. And like you said, having somebody stop you in the street or calling you to tell you how their lives have changed, how their marriages have changed, or how their children have changed because of something that you did. And I normally say this, agreeing with you. It is normally said, a candle does not lose its light by lighting another candle.
True.
So what you have and you give out, you actually benefit the more. And lastly, by doing that, it has challenged me now in my private life, that because of what I do in the public, there is a lot of challenge now for me in the spiritual and also in the intellectual. Because I imagine everybody is looking at me every other time. Does it agree with what I always say? And by that, it has made me to be a better person.
Thank you. So asante sana. I'm not asking for more questions. Our time is up, exactly after 11. My prayer is that this is an easy thing to talk, very difficult to practice. So I'll be praying for you.
Thank you.
That beyond here, you will practice.
I think we'll break for tea, then we come for... We clap for Mr. Nake. One area I will not forget, mothers running away. So, we'll pray for Grace, you pray for tea.
Let's pray. Thank you, Father, for this wonderful day that you have given unto us. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity that you have enabled us to come all the way to this place to learn a few things. I ask that you be with us and bless the tea as we take it. I pray all this in Jesus' name.
When you're presenting, you talk so much about Onyango.